Are you a business owner that's feeling like, I don't know, the small tasks just keep piling up and you can't do the work that you started a business to do? Well, take a listen to this episode and we'll give you some answers. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dollars and Cents, HAPO Community Credit Union's Financial Literacy Podcast. Today, we are going back into the commercial environment. We have Rachel and Antoinette from HAPO Community Credit Union's Commercial Services Department. That's a mouthful of words to throw out there all at once. We are going to be talking about small to large businesses, services that can be provided, and more importantly, services that have a name that is way scarier than it actually is in Treasury services. This is not massive governmental level stuff. This is for any business out there. Ladies, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So, big, scary title, Treasury services, sounds very governmental to me, but it is not. We'll get into that here in a little bit. To kind of start, though, let's talk about some of the things that maybe you guys encounter when a member comes up that they tell you they're still doing manually. How many different services do you see that people come in for saying that they're doing these things manually that you're just like, really? Like still in this day and age?
Probably more like account reconciliation. It's amazing how many do that. How many to write paper checks anymore versus doing the ACH origination, which is a much more safer means of transferring funds or doing payees, whether it's payroll or vendors or whatever your payment method may be.
Okay, I know that paper checks have definitely gone away. I still have a couple of things that I have to use them for, like my HOA. They only take a paper check, but not everybody's there. In fact, a lot of those services are moving to online payments or other sort of digital avenues to accept or make those payments.
Right. And actually, far more people are using paper checks than you can imagine. And in our environment, where we do have some seasonal workers, those workers don't always open up accounts, so they can't get direct deposit on their payroll. So there are businesses that are still having to write even payroll checks.
Okay,
to meet that.
So much more of a manual process, but probably more industry specific to some of those, or is that kind of a business size category as well?
I don't think it's a business size. I think it's based on a need. I think there are small businesses that will do ACH origination or direct deposit. Most all the larger businesses do, and then maybe only a segment of their payees will get a paper check. And so it's really divided based on what the need is for that particular business.
Okay. How about you? Have you seen anything in particular that jumps out to you as a, oh my goodness type of a moment?
An oh my goodness type of moment is when we've seen business clients share their logins with people. That is an oh my shocking moment for me. Or sometimes someone has left the company and they still have access to that user's online banking. So that is definitely something where when we catch that and see that, we coach that and we fix that. But that is something that's always been a little shocking to me, is just the protections we should have in place probably for them as the business owners and for the user themselves. So that's always been a wow moment for me.
I was going to say, you've got your access to online banking, but that doesn't mean that you're the only one that can get access to that. You don't have to share the password. Correct. That is Internet Security 101.
Absolutely.
Sharing passwords with people and then not changing them as an ex-employee leaves. Now, granted, most people are pretty honest, upstanding citizens, but at the same time, you get that one person who decides to be malicious in some way, shape, or form, not having the tools to update, change that access to secure your business and your accounts. I mean, that's some dangerous stuff. What could happen there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the hardest thing is that employees don't realize what that risk is either when they're sharing passwords. If there were to be some fraudulent activity on the account that resulted from that login, who did it?
Yep.
If you have 3 different people
that all use the same thing.
it's a risky venture. Or, we still see people who write their username and password down and tape it to the side of their computer.
Oh yeah, all the time. Sometimes we go to office visits and okay, we're going to change that when we get back.
I mean, I have been known to write a password down for like the first day or two that I have changed a password, just because I know I'm going to forget what random asterisk @ symbol thing that ends up looking like a comic strip's censored out swear word. But like sometimes, like once you get that in or use like a password management tool, get rid of that, shred that piece of paper. Don't leave those things sitting out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Internet and account security 101. That's shocking that people are still having those type of tools out there. Do you think that comes from a lack of technology awareness? And maybe it's an industry specific thing. I'm going to pick on construction for no good reason. Out building houses and not thinking so much about the computer. I've got this image in my head of like an old Apple IIe computer sitting on an office desk with a bunch of workshop tools nearby. And that just being this is what I print my invoices on. Does it feel like it's that type of thing?
I mean, possibly. I think for the most part, we do a good job educating our business clients on how they can make the changes like that. I'm not really sure, to be honest. It just something happened. It just happens. It's a thing that happens. I wouldn't say it's something that's standard. It's just every once in a while it'll pop up and we're like, oh, okay, like let me help you clean this up. And some of them don't even realize that person still had a user built out for them. And so I think it just kind of goes along with when we kind of do the reviews, when we go over that, hey, this business user, she's really wonderful about that. Just, hey, this person, do they still have access? Do we still need this? And they're like, oh no, they quit a week ago. Can you actually change that for us? And
a week ago is actually a pretty short time frame.
That's
like
true.
If it was more like a year ago.
And we've seen it where it's been months and months and if not a year. So I wouldn't say it's super common, but it does happen. And that every time it has come up, I'm like, oh.
You get people that are focused on doing their business and running their actual work and not focused on the background tasks that still need to get done.
Right.
Not everybody has system administrators in say a small business office or IS staff to assist with those things. Yeah. And if you are the account owner and you're working on this, you've not shared your account, but gotten logins for your employees. Right. Sometimes I can easily see someone being like, you know what? I know that I needed to do this, but then I got busy with work.
Yeah.
Even though this is also work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So is that part of where a commercial services team comes in to assist with those type of things? Almost not even a contractor type of an employee that's coming in to help, but an actual service relationship with those members to kind of keep them up on board.
Yeah, I think so. I think that just comes into, again, when we have some of our clients, we do 90-day reviews, some are annual, kind of just depends. But when we do those review processes or when there's a change, if there's a change in the company and we're making changes to the entity and who's going to be on the accounts, it's always a good time for us to review those types of accesses. And so I think that is where we come in to help make those changes when they're already dealing with a change anyways.
Well, sometimes those changes, when we do the reviews, as Rachel's talking about, an employee may still be there, but maybe their role has changed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So do they still need access to this product? Are they still doing those tasks? And so we like to review that with the member to make sure that that person still has what they need, no more, no less.
And perhaps if that person has moved out of that role, somebody else has moved into it, meaning we're just shuffling logins and security features to make sure that it fits their needs.
And that's when we see that somebody who goes out of that still is with the organization, somebody else takes over that duty and they're like, oh, here's my username and password for you to keep doing that. Yeah. So that's when we see that happen, which we highly encourage to never happen.
Right.
I was going to say, maybe the same user account, but change that password.
Yeah.
During these reviews, how do these conversations usually get started with members or with small businesses, people that are just coming in to realize that, hey, I just need a place to deposit some checks that I'm getting. How do you see those member relationships progressing? So like I ran my own business for 12-ish years, I think it was. And I had a business banking account, and I had just a business savings and checking, and paper checks all the way. Walked in, said hi to the tellers, loved everybody that I worked with. Yeah. But how would you have taken a member like myself who was just doing everything manually? And how do you see that progressing for those members?
Yeah, I feel like it really just depends on the need of the business owner. Not every business account is going to need a relationship manager, but just because they don't have a relationship manager doesn't mean that they don't need treasury services.
Okay.
And so I think it really just depends on, it's on us to listen to you and what you need, and to kind of be like, oh, I think this is a good thing I need to send over to treasury, and to get our team involved. And so it's really on, if it's walking into the branch like a financial service specialist, to kind of, oh, okay, I see this is how you're doing things. Let me get you in contact with someone who can make your business run more efficiently.
Because it doesn't matter the size. You as an independent, smaller business, although you may have loved going in to make your deposits and give your checks, it may have been a better use of your time to be able to use remote deposit capture, where you're depositing those checks right from your desk. Those funds hit your account immediately. They're same day processing. So you have better use of funds, right? Is rolling over, not waiting for you to, I'm going to go in 2 days from now because that's when I have the time. And there's the risk component too, because those checks are sitting around. So in the event that there's, a break-in or something like that happens, so there's a risk component. Getting those checks deposited, getting them locked away, moving on to your next task will help small businesses as well as larger ones.
Okay. So there are definitely some services that I could have utilized that I didn't at the time. This was a while ago, so I'm not sure if remote deposit capture was available when I was doing this. I'm not going to talk about how long ago it was. There's enough gray in my beard for people to assume. But these are types of services, more than just going in and depositing checks. What other types of services do you find are kind of the stepping stones for, I'm not going to say small businesses, because that doesn't seem like it is a factor here, the size of the business, but for maybe younger businesses or ones that just aren't utilizing services, what are kind of the stepping stones that you guys see as, hey, here's your first step, your second step, or are there multiple entry points? Is it everybody starts with remote deposit capture, or is there a bunch of different avenues?
Right. That's probably one of the latter projects, but it really depends. Rachel will meet with them first and kind of get an idea of the types of transactions they have. Then she'll bring me in, and then we'll start looking at the history from their statements to say, what's the number of transactions coming in? What types of transactions? What fees may you be getting charged for those? So a lot of people will do, if we go back to ACH origination, is probably the most common product that people will use. And we'll look at statements and see, oh, you're using an accounting software to do your payroll, but they're charging you per file fee. They're charging you a per payee fee. And you'll see this $7, $8 fee on their statement. Say, well, we can do that for you. And yes, we have a treasury services fee, but it's one fee for all these products at this point, and you're already paying that fee in these transactional fees. And so it doesn't matter if you're going to have 800 employees or 80 employees or 6, right? That product is going to be the same for you. How you use it, how you manage your payees and your templates, and the efficiency of it all. Because that's really where it's important. Once they're in there, they're there. You're not having to redo it every single time like you do when you're doing a check. I'm having to manually sign that every single time. And employees love it. I always joke and say, and trust me, if somebody forgets to do their file and the employees don't have their funds, because it usually hits about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So even if they're a construction worker, they can stop and get their Starbucks on their way into work in the morning.
Which we all need in the morning, of course.
Get their coffee in the morning. But if somebody forgot to do payroll or it hit late, and now we're doing same day origination, which we can, they're going to get their check that day, which they're required by law, right? But they're going to get it some time through the day. We don't know when each financial institution is going to process it. And so, but they'll call first thing and say, my paycheck's not there.
Well, I think I think a lot of times with the businesses that I tend to work with, they're already established. They're pretty established in what they're already doing. It's just at that point, how can we make it better?
Yeah.
And how can we start to be a part of their team? They typically already have a team of, they've got an accountant, they've got an attorney, and they'll probably have one of our lenders already as well. Or that's the idea, right? Is they have a lending relationship, they've got a deposit relationship, they've got a treasury service relationship. And so a lot of times we're not really always starting from the ground up. It's probably quite the opposite. They're already pretty well established, and it's a matter of showing them how we could be better than where they're currently at. And I like to call that the discovery phase. And that's where I do ask for like current statements, and I take a look at like, how are they operating their businesses and how can HAPO and us make it better for them?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, hey, I think there's opportunity here. And then
can we save you money on those fees? Can we save you time?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And time is money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we can do that, I think it's pretty great. And then we go out together and we get to meet with these business owners and give them a formal proposal and show them what we can offer. And the goal is to get them on board with us.
I was going to say, so we've got ACH origination. You mentioned same day as well. Mm-hmm. What other services are you off talking to people about that can improve not only their business life, their employees' business life, and kind of simplify these processes for them?
Probably our next product that we speak of most frequently is Positive Pay.
Okay.
My favorite. It is my favorite. She knows how passionate I feel about this.
Yeah, I am as well. I think a lot of times we have an opportunity to talk to a business because they've experienced fraud. Yeah. And fraud is prevalent. We're hearing it all the time. Is it credit card fraud? Is it debit fraud? Is it, your house, your, anything, right? Your identity, all of these things are fraud. And it's huge. But businesses in particular are hit, whether it's check fraud or ACH fraud, and Positive Pay is a fraud protection tool.
Okay.
Yes.
So in enrolling in that, it's a simple project. Sometimes people think, oh, it's an extra task I have to do. But once you've had fraud on your account, you realize
extra tasks there.
It is a time-saving tool, really. So on checks, if you're still writing checks like you.
This is why
not
it's
anymore.
Okay to write checks, because we have this. If anyone's writing checks, you definitely should have this product.
Yes. So you simply upload an Excel file.
Okay.
And it's as simple as when you're doing an email and you're going to attach a file to that email. It's no different than that. It opens up your file explorer, right? You're going to choose your file, you're going to upload it. And then when the checks come in for remittance, the system checks the date it was written, the check number, the payee, and the dollar amount. And if all those 4 fields match, then the check is paid. It's seamless.
Okay.
If one of those fields do not, and the latest trend is that they're just washing the payee. It used to be they'd change the dollar amount, they'd change the payee, but leave the rest. But now they're only changing the payee in hopes that it doesn't get flagged as easily.
Okay.
And it'll hit the exception queue to say, you need to review this check to see. And if it was just where it didn't get read right, the Micker line didn't read right or something, signature line went down to the
typo in
check
an Excel file.
Sure.
Something. Then you just approve it.
Okay.
It's like, okay, it's okay to pay. And if it's not, then you return it and you don't have fraud on the account. And the great benefit of that is the fraudster doesn't realize this is an active live account.
Yes.
So
okay.
It feels like the one way we can kind of get ahead of a fraudster.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's wonderful. And we want to protect our members' funds. And that's one of the best ways I think we can do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, it feels like I can understand, given the description that you said, why people might immediately, it's another task that I've got to do. Yeah. But that's really not that bad. Alerts on your accounts is one of the things that can absolutely cut fraud off at the pass. We've had a number of episodes with Jen from HAPO's fraud department coming in talking about all the different ways that these things happen. This is yet another protection that we can put in place, that business owners can put in place for their employees, so that they're not randomly paying some fraudster this. And it's one of those things where you only have to actively work with it if there is a potential issue. Right. And it'll notify you. And like you mentioned, if an employee is not getting their paycheck cash, they're definitely going to call you and let you know.
Yeah.
Well, and this is one of those products too, where we don't just sign them up for it and say, good luck. We have a wonderful team who trains them on how to use it effectively. And so that's also something.
Continue to work with them. It's not a one and done. Our training will, upon implementation, and then we follow up with them depending on if they're doing ACH origination, we'll follow up for their next file upload, make sure everything goes just fine. Yep. It's positive pay will check in 30 days. So we kind of have like 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days before we kind of cut loose and figure they have it on their own. But fraud is a big deal. 79% of all businesses have been a victim of fraud in some point or another. 79%.
Ooh.
So when people aren't using positive pay, they really do put things at risk. Yep. And ACH positive pay is a product that's a little lesser known, and there's less fraud on ACH by far than there is check fraud. But all you have to do is write a rule. And the rule just is like, what is the ACH ID? Who is the company you're allowing to either pay or debit your account? And then you can even set a dollar amount. So say if you have your Verizon bill, right? Your Verizon bill is usually $200 a month. You write a rule for $200. If a transaction comes in to debit your account and it's more than $200, it'll hit your exception queue and you say, oh, yep, I got an increase. I bought another phone, whatever it is. You approve it and you can change your limit. And so it's another control as well.
It's a control back so you can feel like you're the one that's saying yay or nay.
Yeah.
And I love giving that to our business owners. I think it's really important that they have that.
I was going to say, it's very nice to be able to tell somebody like a Verizon in this case, no, just pull the cost for that from my account regularly. So I don't have to constantly go and make sure that I make this payment, possibly have a missed payment, have my credit score impacted by the fact that I missed a payment. And at the same time, once you've given up that kind of control over that, now they're just pulling money from you. Right. This does give back a little bit of that control, a little bit of that sense of safety. Like, I'm allowing them to do this. It's for my benefit, but now nobody else can take advantage of this factor in some fraudulent way.
Sure. It's also like a control factor for businesses. So let's say you have employees that are out in the field and making purchases on your behalf for them to do their jobs. And they make a purchase that's abnormally large. That payment will still go through. So your relationship with that vendor is still intact, but it's going to get flagged for you to see it before it's buried in your account and all the other transactional history, right?
So like if our producer Jeff takes the company Visa out and decides to buy a new camera one day, that it's still going to go through, but our manager is going to be able to see that and be like, Jeff, we talked about this.
Exactly.
No new cameras without it going through the budget.
The moment it posts, it'll get that notification, Jeff. So be careful. Don't be doing that.
Because that's literally what I just did
today. Did not know that he did that today.
That's funny.
That's funny.
So there's some real controls that you're putting back into the hands of the company.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Okay. So ACH, origination, positive pay, all of these things, tools to help facilitate actual processes for the company as well as protect them from fraudulent things. What is the difference between ACH and wires?
Huge difference.
Okay.
Huge difference. ACH, first and foremost, you can either have it same day or next day, or you can schedule it out. I'm going to have that payment go in, 2 weeks from now, whenever you want that. You can set it up to be recurring. So you've got a payment, and let's say you have a rent payment, and you're going to set that up, and it can go every month at the same time.
So I think a lot of people look at that and they think auto pay, and that's ACH.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what about wires?
So wires are a little bit different. There's a little bit more risk with wires than with ACH because once that money's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, action movies taught me that. Spy movies. Wiring internationally is the only way to accomplish things, and it's very dangerous.
So domestic wires is a part of Treasury services.
Okay.
So you can do it within online banking. It is usually done for property closing, things along those lines. There are some businesses that are saying, I need you to wire money for this purchase that you're doing. I'm like, you don't really need to wire it. You can ACH it.
Okay.
There's also fees with wires, and we get assessed fees. And so we're going to pass that fee on to you. Our wire fee is $25 is minimal, but the receiver is going to get a wire charge as well. For ACH there or not. So wires are perfect. They have their purpose. And they are usually same day, earlier cutoff time than an ACH as well. Because on some different ones.
Now, I believe that the last time I dealt with wire personally was on a mortgage situation, purchasing a condo for my mother-in-law. And it was one of those where it came with a lot of paperwork about fraud on wires.
Yes.
From the title company, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
From the title company, they were very upfront about like, hey, this is the thing. And then I got messages and I was like, wait a minute. Is this the fraud side of things or is this the real side of things?
Mm-hmm.
Made a quick phone call, got confirmed everything was good.
Yeah.
But it was very much one of those, okay, you've put a little bit of fear in me on this wire, and this is a lot of money that I'm sending for this thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but again, everything worked fine because we were cautious and we made a phone call, as you should.
Yes, absolutely. And always call not the number
that's provided.
That's provided in an email or a phone call. You're going to call back the number that you know.
Exactly.
Yes. And that is always the case because we'll get even employers will get an email from, and this is the fraud that's happening. They'll get an email from an employee that says, hey, I've changed my banks. I need you to change my account and routing number to this. Call the employee.
Yep.
Don't just do it because we have email fraud and that their email's hacked. They're now sending them these changes and now the employee is not getting paid.
And unfortunately, we've seen that happen where they didn't make the phone call and they just went per the instructions. And so again, once those wires go out, it's
those ones are sent and gone type of a situation.
Yes.
Yep.
With ACHs, you have about a 24-hour recourse on that to
Okay.
hopefully get those funds back.
Yeah.
What other types of services kind of fall into this category of things? Making large payments or making regular payments is obviously a big one. Positive pay is part of that. What other services are we talking about with Treasury services? Is it just making those payments?
No, you can collect payments. So if you're a gym or you're a HOA, we do have HOAs that use ACH origination to collect their monthly HOA fees and dues, so they don't require their people to have checks. We have one that will not allow them to write a check. You have to sign up for ACH origination. So there's that. But you can look and see how you want to leverage that based on what your need is, right? Depending on if it's collections or payments, recurring, ongoing, one-time only payments, all those are structured. And the great thing is that they're always in your history within online banking to be able to look at those transactions and see what do you need them again. So, yes, Treasury falls. And then I think the big question is, when do I need bill pay? When do I need ACH? And when do I need a wire? And all of those are available through online banking. So if you're going to pay your Benton PUD bill, and you're like, I am not going to write a check, which I will not. I will not write a check. They're not going to give you their account number and routing number, right? That's a safety feature.
Yep.
But you enroll in bill pay. It's a completely free product, and your money's going to go electronically, and your Benton PUD bill is going to get paid on time every month. You can set it up to pay whatever your balance is, or you can set it up to push the dollar amount. So you can set that up through, and that's when you would choose bill pay. It's a big company like that. Yeah. They've arranged for, because they have to negotiate that and sign an agreement that they're going to allow those funds to be transmitted to them electronically.
Okay.
So that's when you could use bill pay. ACH origination is when we talked about whether it's a business or employee, you have their account number, routing number, you're going to push or pull funds. And you do have to have an agreement with them to be able to do that. So you have them sign a form when you get their account number and routing number. And then, of course, wires, like we talked about, is really good for property, and particularly anytime there's a transaction that includes a closure, or sometimes it's just a flat out, it's a time.
So do you guys regularly encounter members or businesses that don't understand which one is better for which situation?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm not the only one. Like in those conversations, how quickly does it kind of come across to them like, oh, okay, this is when I need to be doing this or this other thing? Is it kind of a light bulb moment for most of them?
I don't know if it's a light bulb moment, but just understand like, oh, there's another option and this does make more sense. A lot of times when the accounts that are already established, when we start to see how they are doing transactions, it's an opportunity for us to say, hey, like they're kind of running everything through bill pay. And I think this is an opportunity to get them on ACH origination. So it's really just us seeing it. And then how do we reach out to them to show them how it can be better? And then I think when we meet up and have those conversations, they're like, oh, okay. Like I I didn't know it was just that easy.
Yeah, kind of the if you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. I've got bill pay, and I can shoehorn this into that process of sending or taking money. But hey, here's this other option that you have as well, and now your tool list is starting to expand.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think that's the hands-on, one-on-one connection that we make. We'll help them set up their bill pay. We don't just tell them, here's a product, you could be using this. We'll actually say, well, let's get your bills and let's start enrolling, because bill pay is a great tool. But keep in mind, it'll send that payment via check as well. So you need to look and see, am I going to send that through bill pay on an electronic rail, or is that going to go on a check rail? If it's going to go on a check rail, then I know I may have to pay a fee to utilize ACH, but it'll be a safer transaction, and I'll send that money via ACH instead.
Okay, so question of cost versus security.
Right.
Speaking of cost, do you see a lot of savings to members when they start using the right product in the right situation? We mentioned earlier, time is money, and efficiency being part of that. Do you guys see a lot of companies running more efficiently doing this, and what type of savings you're seeing them get?
I think the funny part is once they embrace it,
they
can't live without it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like anything.
They love
if you used to ever write letters by hand, and now you're using a Word to quickly type it all out, and then you have it and save it as a template and reuse it again. You've developed efficiencies, right?
Yes.
And you embrace that.
Yes.
And online banking is no different. It's sometimes, especially, I'll just put myself in that category. When we get a little older, we don't understand technology quite as quickly, right? As people who grew up on a keyboard.
It definitely doesn't help with how quickly it moves as well, because that's increased in speed over time, how quickly those changes come about.
Absolutely. I mean, I learned to type on a Royal typewriter, those black, and I found a key one time that had my initial on it. I created a bracelet just to remind me of all the technology that's changed in my lifetime, right? And it's not going to stop, whether it's AI or other things, right? Technology is rolling all the time, but it can be intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
And so we like to take the time to meet with someone, make sure they fully understand it, because when they understand it, we're training them in their own environment, they're comfortable, they're going to embrace it.
Yep.
You just say, oh, we've signed you up for ACH, here's a packet, read it at your leisure.
And that's when it'll fail, and they'll just be overwhelmed with it, because we're just leaving. We don't do that. But
we absolutely don't.
Well, and I know what I love to do with my leisure time is read about ACH.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we all like to do. I mean, we actually probably do like to do that, but.
So in general, what you're noticing is the efficiencies, the embracing of this, possibly an attitude change in employers, in members, where they're like, this has taken a lot of stress out of my workday.
Yes.
I feel like that in and of itself is a benefit that most people don't talk about.
Yeah.
Is the financial stress of running a business or even your personal finances, and having those things organized in a way to where you're comfortable. You haven't just given up all of the authority to somebody else to do it for you. So you still have some control, some view of it, but you also don't have to go out of your way every week or every day or once a month to do all of these different tasks. So you don't feel like you're having all of these tasks piled on you. You're like, I need to run my business.
Yeah. And that's what they should be able to do. And that's where we come in. It's part of what my job is as well, is banking should be easy. And I think that's what we do for the business owners, to be able to just focus on running their business, and we take care of the banking side of things.
And unlike some of our competitors, their Treasury services department is somewhere else. We're local. Our whole department is here. Right. So when you have a problem, you can't get something to go, we're just down the road to help you get that file pushed. And we live in a very vibrant, robust community, right? And so a lot of our businesses have been around for a long time, and those bookkeepers have been in place for a long time. And they start getting frustrated because the employees have quadrupled since they were in that position, right?
Yeah, it's the problem that you want as a business.
It is. But for the bookkeeper who started off when it was a small company, that can be very intimidating, and they can struggle through that. And we are happy to go out and sit with them one-on-one again and help review their tasks and try to make sure they understand it. And here's a newer, better way to do that.
Yep.
And so that's the part that I love the most about my job is going out and knowing that I can make a difference in that business by just taking a few minutes to review things with them, how they're doing it, what could be better.
Very cool. We are coming close to the end of our podcast today. For the businesses out there that are listening, what's some final takeaways that you guys can provide to them as far as what they should or could be doing, what they can look at in their own to know that they should come talk to you guys?
I just think make sure you have positive pay if you're writing checks. I think that's the most important truthfully, it's hard to get ahead of fraud. And the fact that we have a tool to do that, I think it's really important that just about every business owner, if you're doing ACH and if you're writing any type of checks, it could be 4 checks a month or it could be 200 checks a month, whatever it might be. I would encourage anybody who is not familiar with that product or doesn't have that product to give us a call.
Yeah. And don't hesitate to reach out to us. You might have opened up that account again when you were a smaller business and you didn't have a lot of transactions. And now you're doing a lot more transactions. So maybe the account type that you were in when you started isn't where you should be now. Maybe you could reduce the amount of fees by moving to an analyzed account. An analyzed account, your Treasury service fee would be offset through your transactions and your deposits. And so let's just take a look at the whole relationship and say, what's the best account type for you based on your volumes? How can Treasury services help make things smoother, more efficient for you? And as Rachel says, safer, really, with all the fraud. Everybody really should be in positive pay. I'm a firm believer with her on that.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing we're going to do before we sign off is a series of hot take questions. So quick answers.
We're gonna take one of them out of the room.
Oh, okay. You want to do it that way?
Copying each other.
You can go first. Good luck.
We'll send Jeff to get you here in a second.
So much for being my buddy. Uh-oh.
All right. So we've got 10 quick questions, quick answers. Yep.
Wow.
They should be pretty quick answers. But here we go. Most businesses start using Treasury services too late. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Okay. Paper checks are becoming a liability for businesses. Hot take or overblown?
I think it's a hot take.
Okay. If a business owner is still driving checks to the bank, something is broken operationally. True or false?
I would say false. I don't know if I would say that it's broken because, again, they could use remote deposit capture. They could use courier service. There are other options. But some people just also need that break in their day.
Yeah. ACH fraud is becoming a bigger threat than most business owners realize. True or false?
I think all of it is becoming a bigger threat than businesses realize, coming back to that 79%.
Mm-hmm. Small businesses should care about fraud prevention just as much as large corporations.
Absolutely.
Most business owners waste more time on manual banking tasks than they think.
Probably true.
A lot of businesses think they need more employees when they actually need better systems.
Yes.
Treasury services should be introduced much earlier in the life of a business.
Yes.
Business owners often underestimate how important cash flow visibility actually is.
Probably. And that's a hard one just because we have some businesses that I work with. Seriously, they catch everything. They're looking at it through the day. They know exactly what that activity is. And then we have some that say they haven't looked at it in a month, which is really scary. So it's a little all over the board.
The businesses that scale the smoothest are usually the ones that automate early.
Yes.
All right. That's all 10.
Okay, Rachel.
Are you ready? In the hot seat.
What's the title of the document, Scott?
The title of this document, Hot Takes, done.
Wait, you forgot one thing. The fire emoji.
Oh, yes, there are fire emojis on it. See them right there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's very apropos.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Most businesses start using Treasury services too late. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Paper checks are becoming a liability for businesses. Hot take or overblown?
Hot take.
Okay. If a business owner is still driving checks to the bank, something is broken operationally.
No.
Okay. ACH fraud is becoming a bigger threat than most business owners realize.
Agreed. Yes, I'm sorry. What's the right answer?
Whichever one you say. Small businesses should care about fraud prevention just as much as large corporations. True or false?
True.
Okay. Most business owners waste more time on manual banking tasks than they think.
True.
A lot of businesses think they need more employees when they actually need better systems.
I don't know. Do I have to answer that one? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, ask me again. Can we redo that?
A lot of businesses think they need more employees when they actually need better systems.
True.
Treasury services should be introduced much earlier in the life of a business.
Absolutely.
Business owners often underestimate how important cash flow visibility actually is.
No, I feel like they know it's important.
Okay. The businesses that scale the smoothest are usually the ones that automate early.
Yeah.
All right. That's all 10.
Yeah, that visibility.
It's hard because I start thinking about specific business owners I'm working with, and I'm like, no, they know. Like, they know what they're doing now. Did they know 10 years ago? Maybe not. But like, so that's where I get like stuck on some of those questions. I'm like, no, I know they know how important that is. So.
Well, but we have, and I guess, and you may not hear it as frequently as we do in Treasury, because there's always somebody we're working with that is experiencing fraud at the moment.
Yeah.
And it surprised me because it's a business that is one of those that watches it all the time, because that's why you want to watch it. I mean, fraud's happening, for you to notice it a week or 2 weeks or a month later.
Too late.
It's too late. Even your recourse options are too late, right? But they asked me about a transaction a couple weeks ago that happened back in November.
Oh, goodness. That's reaching back a couple of months there. Like almost we're at a solid half year at that point.
Right.
Yeah. See, I really just think it depends on the business owner, right? Because some people they're on it all the time. This doesn't look right. Like, and it just happened the day prior. And then when there's some who, well, I balance my book once a month.
Yeah.
Please.
We've had a number of episodes with Jacob, FSS downstairs, who he checks in on his accounts daily, if not multiple times a day. That's just the type of guy that he is. So he always knows what's going on in his accounts. Yep. And I'm much more of a freewheeling type of an individual where I'm like, I know that things are happening. I know what's hitting. I check it out every now and again, and everything looks, generally speaking, correct. And I'm fine with that. But I think it also comes down to, in those situations, how tight you want to be with your budget, how tight you want to be with your operational costs. Like, are you okay freewheeling it a little bit here and there? Like maybe a weekly check-in might be okay for some of these people. But with those turnaround times on being able to handle fraudulent situations, I think that does change the urgency that people should have in looking into the visibility of where their money's going.
Absolutely.
And there's always the alert features. People don't utilize those enough. I mean, I even have them on my personal account. If something comes in and hits my account that's over $200, I get a text that says this transaction hit, and then it says what it was, right?
And if you weren't the one that was swiping the card right then to do the thing, and if you do swipe the card, you don't get the alert, then you'd be like, what the heck is going on?
And it can be an ACH transaction. It can be a check. It can. It doesn't define the type of transaction. It's leveraged by the dollar, because that's the alert I particularly put on there. Or if my account gets below this dollar amount, I get a text alert on that too, which is helpful. So if somebody came in and tried to take a big chunk of money out of my account, and it happens all the time, I'm going to know about it.
Yeah. People are trying to take money out of your account all the time. Is it you? Are you an online shopper? We have talked about financial stress and the retail therapy aspect of life on previous episodes.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us on today's podcast, talking about Treasury services, the side of commercial that a lot of business owners maybe don't know exists and that they should be able to go and take advantage of. I know I didn't know about them when I was running my own business, but I was just a solo little guy working out of my living room with my computer. I probably could have utilized the services, but I didn't in the time. If you're out there listening right now as a business owner and you feel like you are maybe a little stressed out about all of the financial, the admin, the accounting tasks that you have to undertake for your business, and it feels like it's taking you away from the work that you started your business to do, maybe you are at a point to come talk to somebody in commercial services about what tools are available that you're not taking advantage of yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies, thank you once again for joining us. And for everybody else out there, this has been Dollars and Cents, HAPO Community Credit Union's Financial Literacy Podcast. Until next time.